The IMF recently told Egypt that you need to unify your interest rates. So essentially, Egypt has different interest rates for different sectors of the economy. They say you need to unify those interest rates, give everybody one single interest rate so that when you're lending money, it's a level playing field. Kind of the same situation with our exchange rates. I was just thinking about the money. I was like, oh, the first thing I thought about was that what rates do you convert this money at? So there's that conversation, and then you've got how corruption has badly hit Nigeria. Abacha just keeps on giving. How much money did this man steal? And there's the issue of transparency, leadership, making the right decision in 2023. What would we have done if we didn't have America? And so on and so forth. So there's lots of conversations to have around this money that keeps on.
The US is actually having their own conversation because they're like, we've given you all, or we found and returned 334 point something million dollars so far. Let's talk about the effect that corruption has on societies. That's what the US is talking about right now.
It's terrible. It's still, again, if the three of us, if I was to ask the two of you, what is Nigeria's biggest problem? Is it corruption? Is it lack of power? Or is it, what is it?
Corruption. It all stems from corruption, doesn't
it? So that would probably be the number one issue. And the question is, have we, up until this date, has corruption in Nigeria reduced? Can anyone say it has reduced and it's not as big an issue as it was when Abacha was in power? Some would say no, you're right? If you think about all different where money can go in this country and how it is being filtered away. There are so many court cases now with government officials that are taking money. So it just brings to bear this next election that's coming up, the importance of, electing an honest person, a transparent person, making the right decision. That conversation is still one that needs to be had. Because who knows, you might hear another announcement in another 6 or 8 months or a year from now for another money that's still coming in. So, and the need for cooperation with other countries, transparent systems. Yesterday, we were talking about pensions and how people are faking their deaths and collecting money. We still have ghost workers, ghost worker issues in this country. So Nigeria has a long way to go with corruption. Just a long way.
I was going to throw this in on a lighter note. Abacha says that we lack forex in this country, and he has sent about $23 million back into the economy. I hope the CBN can get some of it, and so people are applying for Form A can see these dollars and use it. You get what I mean? Right. Anyways, there are messages on WhatsApp.
Let's have a look at Benga's message. Benga Kamu is saying, how come this Abacha loot is going to projects that have been ongoing? I'm tired of hearing that it's going to be used for Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Since 2016, Lagos-Ibadan and Second Niger Bridge. Anyways, this Abacha loot should just be made a line item on our national annual budget. Perhaps an agency to recover more. Kudos to Abacha for being the most generous Nigerian ancestor. I really can't wait for other living Abachas to die for us to get our funds back. I hope they put this Abacha to shame when they start returning their stolen loot from the golden graves.
Oh, okay. And Ogeno Chukwu says $23 million. Imagine how many solar systems this money would have been used to provide 5,000 megawatts for 5 million of a particular population. From my findings, it would take $2,500 for these solar panels. Yeah.
Interesting. There's a lot that could be funded. There's a lot that could be used for it to fund so many different things.
Forgive us. We don't rob, we don't kidnap, we don't do online fraud. The only thing we do, or we know how to do for the past 12 years, is teach, lecture, and register students. Okay.
I think this is about me. If you're advertising something, good luck to you. Let's move on.
All right. So the previous message from Ogeno Chukwu, which talks about how we can use the recovered funds for solar panels. Let's talk about this other story where some tech coys are saying, the 6.4 trillion naira spent on fuel subsidy, just 10% of it, if it was used for road maintenance, it would go a long way for road transportation in Nigeria. Rotus, what do you think?
Hold on, though. Yeah, before we do that, let's just finish off with the messages regarding the loot.
Okay.
Gilbert Musa from Festac saying on the returned loot to Nigeria, let's ask ourselves, how did this money leave the shores of Nigeria? First, we need to create strong institutions to prevent resources from leaking. Okay.
Right. Agreed. The subsidy matter. Look, well, we need our government to be honest with us about how much fuel will cost if and when the subsidy is removed. They're now saying June of 2023. They've conveniently kicked the can down the road for the next administration to deal with it. Diesel now is about 700, 800 naira. Fuel, for some, I don't know how the math works out, but fuel is usually more expensive than diesel. And so, if you remove that subsidy, we will be paying like 1,000 naira per liter. Who is telling us the truth? Who is being honest about it? Who is constantly reminding Nigerians? That's one conversation, the big one. Again, speaks to honesty of governments and being upfront with people. But yeah, I think I can't remember the name of the company, Nyrixi or something, a tech company that is, I guess, into transportation, is saying that, and again, it goes back to the Abacha loot and money used for infrastructure that we can see with our eyes. That subsidy, if you think about the Abacha loot in dollar terms, so far we've gotten back $300 and something million. That is just, I think last year subsidy, we spent over $1 billion or 1.2 or 1.3 billion dollars on subsidies. So that's just 1/3 of Nigeria's subsidy bill. The Abacha loot recovered so far. So it is so expensive. We're not really seeing the impact it's having. And the government, one, needs to be upfront with Nigerians about how much it's going to cost when you take it away. And then two, as people are saying, use this, pick whatever you want, whether it's healthcare, internet, broadband, transportation, whatever. That money can go elsewhere. You can also cushion the blow on Nigerians from higher fuel costs. So the subsidy is still one of the biggest elephants in the room for the country.
They're going to have to increase the minimum wage bill for all the different states, because who is going to be able to afford to get to work if that happens, right? Subsidy?
That's correct. So that,
well, back to what Sapo Chukwu is saying, the only way to stop corruption is to prevent it from happening. And Gbenga Komu is in with some more messages.
Yes, he says, Rotus, are you following the thread on corruption on Twitter by Joe Abanasemota?
Joe Abba, Semota, yes, and Revelong.
Revelong, okay.
I haven't, no, I'll check it out.
He goes on to say, how do we go to do right by us when oil subsidy is removed?
Look, this is something that leadership has to address head on. There's a number of factors, like Chokwe said already, who can afford to move anywhere if fuel goes to 1,000 naira per liter. But look, the Ghanaians are doing it, the Kenyans are doing it, the South Africans are doing it, the Egyptians are doing it. Everybody else is facing this beast head on. So you just have to have leadership that is going to be able to cushion the blow, but be honest with people, right? And tell us upfront what we're going to be paying and drum it into Nigerians' heads so they can expect it. It's we have a long way to go there.
They're gonna have to make sure that people can actually get more export licenses. We're gonna have to figure out what to do with wages. There's that needs to happen. I guess with the fuel subsidy, we've been living in what can only be termed an artificially suppressed society.
And that's not a capitalist. So that's not a capitalist society. That's a quasi-socialist society that we've been living in. So you got to take the Band-Aid off. You can't rip it off, perhaps, but in stages. Just peel it off slowly so that the pain isn't really felt, and plan ahead. Just be honest with Nigerians. We got to keep this conversation up on this subsidy matter, because again, they've kicked the can down the road, and the next government has to deal with it.
Just one more from Ogenochukwu, and then we call things a wrap for today. He says, please organize a presidential debate on these issues, Rotus.
I'll try my best. Smooth FM, let's do it.
All right, great. Thank you very much for being a part of the show today. Thanks to all the messages to all those who sent messages to us on the show. Let's do this again tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you very much, Rotus, for being a part of the conversation today. Now let's keep it going on Twitter at Smooth981FM and Rotan Quotes. Let's keep talking about the Abacha loot repatriated back into Nigeria and how perhaps shall we get a share of it? I don't know, but
no.
Okay.
We can only get a share of it
bridge
through governmental spending on things we can actually see, unlike bridges.
Anyways, let's talk about it on Twitter. Thank you very much.